Have you ever heard of astral travel? Have you heard people say they are able to visit any place on the planet without needing transportation and without spending money? According to those who talk about it, this happens during our sleep, when the spirit detaches from the sleeping body and travels wherever we desire. Is this possible? Has it ever happened to you? Who are the people who can do this astral travel? Is it a dangerous practice? Astral travel is a term known by spiritualists, but what does the Spiritist doctrine codified by Allan Kardec say? Do Spiritists engage in astral travel? Do they study this phenomenon, or is it something prohibited by the doctrine? And what about other religions, do they know about this phenomenon? I appreciate your company and kindly ask that you subscribe and hit the like button at the end of the video if you enjoyed it, as this is how you can support the channel. Thank you very much. The doubts and misunderstandings that arise on this subject, once again have their starting point in that old dispute over words that humanity stubbornly falls into. Instead of seeking the concepts, we simply cling to the words. Some spiritualists and even spiritists, who do not interpret correctly what is written in the Spiritist doctrine, believe that Spiritism does not study the phenomenon of astral travel, but this is not true. Regarding this subject, the Spiritist doctrine introduces the concepts of astral travel in the 8th chapter of the Spirit's book, entitled Emancipation of the Soul. Let's look at some questions from Allan Kardec and the respective answers from the Spirits. Question 401. During sleep, does the soul rest like the body? No, the spirit is never inactive. During sleep, the ties that bind it to the body relax, and the body does not need the spirit, so it travels through space and enters into more direct relation with other spirits. Question 402. How can we judge the freedom of the spirit during sleep? Through dreams. When the body rests, believe it, the spirit has more faculties than in the waking state. It remembers the past and sometimes foresees the future. It acquires greater potential and can communicate more easily with other spirits, whether from this world or the other. Often you say, I had a bizarre dream, I had a horrible dream, but it was absolutely implausible. You are mistaken, for it is often a memory of places and things you have seen or will see in another existence or at another time. With the body numbed, the spirit strives to break its chains and investigate in the past or in the future. Poor men who barely know the most common phenomena of life. You consider yourselves very wise, and the most ordinary things confuse you. You know nothing to answer these questions that all children ask. What do we do when we sleep? What are dreams? Question 408. Sometimes it seems we hear distinctly pronounced words within ourselves that have no relation to what concerns us. Where does this come from? It's true, you even hear entire phrases, especially when the senses begin to numb. It is sometimes a faint echo of a spirit who has come to communicate with you. Question 409. Often, in a state that is not yet one of drowsiness, when we have our eyes closed, we see distinct images, figures of which we apprehend the smallest details. Is this an effect of vision or imagination? With the body numbed, the spirit strives to detach itself, it transports and sees, and if sleep were complete, this would be a dream. Question 410. Sometimes during sleep or when we are only slightly drowsy, we have ideas that seem excellent to us, and despite our efforts to retain them, they fade from memory. Where do these ideas come from? They are the result of the freedom of the spirit, which emancipates itself and enjoys more faculties during that moment. They come from the freedom of the spirit, which emancipates itself and when emancipated, enjoys its faculties to a greater extent. Often they are advice, given by other spirits. Question 410, Letter A. What use are these ideas and advice, since the memory is lost and they cannot be utilized? Sometimes these ideas belong more to the world of spirits than to the corporeal world. However, if the body forgets, the spirit remembers and the idea revives at the necessary moment, like a timely inspiration. Question 412. During bodily rest or sleep, can the activity of the spirit tire the body? Yes, because the spirit has a body like a balloon tethered to a post. Just as the agitation of the balloon shakes the post, the activity of the spirit reacts on the body and can tire it. Question 413. Does it seem to result from the principle of the emancipation of the soul during sleep, that we have two simultaneous existences, one of the body, which gives us the life of outward relations, and one of the soul, which gives us the life of hidden relations? Is it really so? In the state of emancipation, the life of the body gives way to the life of the soul. However, there are not two existences. In truth, they are two phases of a single existence, because man does not live doubly. Question 414. Can two people who know each other visit each other during sleep? Yes, and even those who believe they do not know each other gather and converse. Without suspecting, you may have friends in another country. During sleep, it is so common for you to meet with friends and relatives whom you know and who can be useful to you, that almost every night you make these visits. Question 416. Can a person provoke spirit visits by their will? Can they, for example, say when falling asleep, "Tonight I will meet in spirit with such person and talk to them and tell them such and such"? What happens is this: when a person falls asleep, their spirit awakens, and what the person has decided, the spirit often doesn't stray far from following, because the life of the person matters little to the spirit when it is detached from matter. This applies to individuals who are already highly spiritually elevated. Others experience the spiritual phase of their earthly existence in a very different way. They surrender to passions or inactivity. It may happen that, according to the motives for which it was proposed, the spirit goes to visit those with whom it wishes to meet, but its will in the waking state is not a reason for it to do so. Question 417. Can incarnated spirits gather in a certain number and form assemblies? Undoubtedly. The bonds of friendship, old or recent, often bring together various spirits, who feel happy to be together. Note: by the term old we should understand the bonds of friendship contracted in previous existences. Upon awakening, we retain the intuition of the ideas we glean from these gatherings, but we remain ignorant of the source from which they originated. As we can see, Spiritist doctrine deals with the emancipation of the soul, which provides all the foundation for us to understand astral travel. The emancipation of the soul during the sleep of the physical body is something that happens to everyone, without distinction, and no particular faculty is necessary. However, it is possible to make a distinction between the denominations emancipation of the soul and astral travel, if we so desire, because they are just words, and what matters are the concepts. Our spirit partially detaches from the body during sleep, and this happens to everyone: spiritualists, spiritists, Catholics, Protestants, Buddhists, Jews, atheists, and anyone else. But we can define astral travel not only as the ability of the spirit to detach from the body but also the power to identify itself outside of it at the exact moment the phenomenon occurs, with the spirit being fully aware and interacting while the body sleeps. Another characteristic of astral travel is to enable the body to process the experience and bring back the memories of the interactions it had during the partial detachment, for when one wakes up. During astral travel, we retain all our faculties, which are even expanded because we are partially free from the heavy burden that is the physical body. So, as a concept, we can say that astral travel is the power to remember the experience that the spirit lived outside the body during sleep, in the emancipation of the soul, with full consciousness and clarity. Is astral travel dangerous? The answer is, no. The emancipation of the soul is inherent in everyone, the difference is that we do not bring the experiences to the physical body. Astral travel is a great alternative for the skeptic and the scholar, who will have on their own account, the confirmation of the existence of the world of spirits and the continuation of life after the death of the physical body. And that's why we can assert, without the need for further discussions, that the Catholic and Protestant religions do not have in their theological foundations, any word addressing the subject. They simply are unaware of the phenomenon and don't even consider it a possibility, as they would have to endorse the concepts that claim there is an essence that survives the body's death, which we call spirit, and that it will continue to live in the spiritual world continuously, without waiting for any major celestial event or final judgment. Additionally, they must accept that interaction and communication between those of us who are incarnated and those who have passed through physical death is possible. Without a radical change in their theological concepts, such religions will remain on the sidelines of the great discoveries and findings that can be made through astral travel. To conclude the video, I offer a plea to those who aim to discover the incredible sensations of an astral journey: don't treat it as a mere game. It requires study and preparation. Above all, maintain balance, as a new world will unfold, and during sleep, our spirit seeks out and encounters people and places based on what resonates within us while awake. Much peace to all. Thank you for staying until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to help spread good words and positive energy. I hope to see you in the next video, God willing.